In the deep African forests, there was once a small village named Jumba. The village was surrounded by dense trees and beautiful lakes. But the most special thing about this village was its ancient legend, called Nyokai's soul. The villagers believed that Nyokai was the spirit of the forest, who blessed those with pure and selfless hearts. But this spirit rarely revealed itself, and for those it angered, strange events began to occur in their lives. In the village, there was a boy named Kalo. Kalo was a brave and curious boy. He often roamed the forest, trying to learn new things. However, the village elders would frequently warn him, "Don't go too deep into the forest, Kalo. If Nyokai's spirit gets angry, you will face troubles." Kalo never took these warnings seriously. He thought they were just stories meant to scare children. One day, as the sun was setting and the forest was becoming desolate, Kalo called his best friend Moja and said, "Come on, let's go to that part of the forest where no one has dared to go. Maybe we'll find something exciting." Moja was a little scared. He said, "No, Kalo, this could be dangerous. We've heard that Nyokai lives there." But Kalo reassured him, "There's nothing to fear. If Nyokai really exists, I'll see her and come back. And if it's just a story, we'll discover the truth." Finally, Moja agreed, and the two friends took torches and some food and set off towards the deeper part of the forest. Along the way, they heard strange noises, like the rustling of tree leaves and the low growls of animals. But Kalo fearlessly moved ahead. After some time, they noticed that the forest had suddenly become quiet. There were no sounds of birds or animals. Only the soft rustle of the wind could be heard. Then they saw an old dilapidated temple. Moja panicked and said, "What is this place? We should turn back." But Kalo's curiosity grew. He said, "No, Moja, we should go inside and check. Maybe this is Nyokai's home." They both entered the temple. Strange pictures were painted on the walls. The pictures showed trees, rivers, and a glowing light in the forest. Kalo touched the wall, and suddenly a reverberating voice echoed around them. "Those who seek the truth move forward, but those who step with selfishness must pay the price." Moja, terrified, stepped back, but Kalo said confidently, "I am a seeker of truth. Show me who Nyokai is." Suddenly, the ground in the center of the temple began to shake, and a glowing figure appeared. It was the figure of a woman, with eyes shining like stars. She was Nyokai. Nyokai said, "Kalo, your curiosity has brought you here, but do you recognize the truth in your heart?" Kalo lowered his head and said, "I just want to know who you are, and what your purpose is." Nyokai smiled and said, "If your intentions are pure, I will tell you my story. But remember, this story may change your life." Thus, Kalo and Moja embarked on a mysterious journey. Little did they know, many secrets were about to unfold on this adventure. Nyokai's glowing figure began to tell them her story. She said, "This forest is not just the home of trees and lakes. It is also the dwelling of spirits and magical powers. I am the guardian spirit of this forest." Kalo asked eagerly, "What is your story? And is it true that you grant blessings?" Nyokai replied, "Centuries ago, when humans first began to enter this forest, they respected nature. The forest gave them fruits, water, and shelter. But with time, greed grew among the people. They began to destroy the forest. That's when I vowed that I would only help those whose hearts are pure and selfless." Moja, still frightened, said quietly, "If you are so powerful, will you grant us a blessing?" Nyokai answered, "A blessing is only given to those who are ready to pay the price. But first, you must pass my test." Kalo said boldly, "We accept your test." Nyokai waved her glowing staff in the air, and instantly 3 doors appeared in front of them. Each door had a different symbol on it. The first door had a picture of a tree, the second had a river, and the third had a lion. Nyokai said, "Each door will lead you to a different test. If you succeed, you will be worthy of the blessing, but if you fail, you will have to face your truth in this forest." Moja anxiously asked, "How will we decide which door to choose?" Nyokai smiled and said, "It depends on the voice of your heart. The tree door is a test of patience and wisdom. The river door is a test of sacrifice and surrender, and the lion door is a test of courage and fearlessness." Kalo looked at Moja and said, "We should go through the lion door. Without courage, we can't achieve anything." Moja hesitated, saying, but it looks the most dangerous. Will this be the right choice? Kalo said confidently, we came here for the truth and the challenge. Without fear, we must move forward. The two opened the lion door. As soon as the door opened, they found themselves in a desolate desert. The heat was intense, and there was no shade in sight for miles. Suddenly, a massive lion appeared before them. Its eyes burned like fire. It roared. Those who enter my domain must prove their strength and fearlessness. If you fail, this desert will be your end. Kalo, showing courage, said, we are ready for your test. Tell us, what must we do? The lion mentioned 3 challenges. The first challenge was to find a special plant hidden in the desert, a life-giving plant. The second challenge was to protect the plant until they could deliver it to the lion. The third challenge was to face their fears, look into the lion's eyes and speak their truth. Kalo and Moja immediately began the task of finding the plant. The scorching rays of the sun and the burning sand made their path difficult, but Kalo's determination remained unwavering. Would they be able to complete their first challenge? And would they have the courage to face the remaining challenges of the lion? To find out, they had to continue their journey. Despite the intense heat and exhaustion of the desert, Kalo and Moja were determined to complete the first challenge. The lion's first task was to find the special life-giving plant. The plant was hidden somewhere in the desert, and without it, completing the second challenge would be impossible. The two friends continued forward slowly. Moja's face showed clear signs of worry. He said, Kalo, are you sure we can find it? This desert feels endless. Kalo answered confidently, I'm sure, Moja. We just need to listen to our hearts and keep our eyes open. After a while, they spotted a shining mound of sand. When they approached it, they realized there was something special there. Kalo said, I think we should search here. They began to dig through the sand. After a short while, they found a small plant with shimmering green leaves, and they could feel a slight coolness coming from it. Moja said with joy, this is the one, we found it. But their joy didn't last long. As soon as they tried to uproot the plant, a disturbance started in the sand around them. Huge scorpions began emerging from the sand. There were so many of them that both of them grew terrified. Moja said in fear, what will we do now, Kalo? These scorpions will kill us. Kalo grabbed his torch and swung it in the air, trying to scare the scorpions away. He said to Moja, don't be afraid. The flame of the torch is the only way to keep them at bay. You grab the plant safely, and I'll handle these scorpions. Moja quickly uprooted the plant and wrapped it in his cloth. Kalo used the torch to force the scorpions to retreat. As soon as the plant was in their hands, the scorpions slowly started to disappear. Both of them let out a sigh of relief, but the challenge didn't end there. The next task was to take the plant to the lion. The desert journey became even harder. The fierce wind and sandstorm were blocking their way. Moja became exhausted and said, Kalo, I don't think I can go any further. Kalo supported him and said, Moja, we've come this far. We can't give up now. This plant is the key to our test. Just then, a strange glow appeared in the sky, and a bird flew toward them. This wasn't just any bird. It was a magical bird with golden feathers. It looked at them and spoke. I am Nyokai's messenger. You have passed your first challenge. It is crucial to keep the plant safe. I will show you the way to the lion. Both of them thanked the bird and began to follow it. The bird led them along a safe path where there was no storm and no other danger. Finally, they reached the lion. The lion roared and said, You have passed the first 2 challenges. Now it's time for the final test. Look into my eyes and tell me your truth. If your words are true, you will win. Moja, frightened, said, Kalo, this is the toughest test. Do you think we can pass it? Kalo looked at him and smiled, saying, There is never defeat in truth, Moja. We just need to open our hearts and speak. Now, the final test of their courage and truth was about to begin. Would they be able to satisfy the lion with their truth? To find out, they would have to see what happened next. The lion's deep, shining eyes were fixed on Kalo and Moja. There was a seriousness in its voice as it spoke. If there is even the slightest lie in your heart, this jungle will not accept you. Now tell me, who are you and why have you come here? Kalo took a deep breath and said, We are just ordinary humans who have come here to save our village. Our village is suffering from drought and hunger. We heard that the spirits of this jungle can help, so we accepted your challenge, but our intention is only to help our people." Moja nodded in agreement and added, "We are not selfish. We do not want anything for ourselves. We just want to save our village. If you grant us this blessing, we will accept it as a responsibility." The lion looked at them for a moment, then roared, "There is truth in your words, but truth cannot be proven by words alone. You must prove it through your trials and sacrifice." The lion used its powers to create a magical lake. It said, "This lake is enchanted. If you are free from fear and lies, your reflection will appear clearly in it. But if there is any deception or fear in your heart, the lake will not accept you. Now look into it and see your truth." Kalo and Moja walked up to the lake. First, Kalo looked into the water. His reflection appeared clear and glowing. The lion roared, "Kalo, you are true and fearless. The jungle accepts you." Now it was Moja's turn. He peered into the lake, but the water started to ripple. Moja was filled with fear and said, "Maybe I'm not brave enough. I've spent my whole life in the shadow of fear." Kalo grabbed Moja's hand and said, "Moja, truth is revealed through courage. Accepting your fear is your greatest strength." Moja took a deep breath and looked into the lake again. This time, the water calmed and his reflection became clear. The lion said, "You both have proven your truth. Now you are worthy of the blessing." The lion used its divine power to present them with a glowing object. It was a magical bowl that would never be empty. It would always be filled with water and food. The lion said, "Take this back to your village and help your people. But remember, it must only be used for good." Kalo and Moja thanked the lion and began their journey back to their village. The journey had been tough, but through their courage, truth, and friendship, they had earned everything they needed to help their people. As Kalo and Moja overcame the challenges of their journey with the help of the lion and received blessings for their village, their truth, courage, and friendship led them to victory. This story teaches us that with truth and bravery, we can overcome any obstacle. Have you ever faced your truth or found the courage to conquer your fear in difficult times? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to share this inspiring journey with your friends and subscribe our channel for more stories.